September's forecast. Let me just make sure that I have my light on here because I can never see if it's actually going on well or not. So bear with me as I'm playing along with this light, and at the same time it's going to allow people to find me because I think everybody is really curious and interested to know what is going to happen in September. Are you feeling the zing? Because I have been feeling the zing. I think my hair's been feeling the zing as well. Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about September's frequency forecast. Now, if you are new to my world, welcome. If you're not new to my world, welcome as well. I'm so happy that you're joining me. I am slightly obsessed with the numerical realm. I'm a master intuitive numerologist, and I use numerology to navigate life for myself and also to coach and mentor other people who want to show up unshakable and unapologetic in their lives so that they can really align with their soul calling, with their destiny, with their gifts, so that they can overcome whatever it is that has been holding them back, that has been keeping them hostage, dimming their light. So this is what I love to do. And I'm also an energy healer. I'm an expert in subtle energy. So every time that we connect, there is some energetic shifts that are happening without even knowing, right? Without you even knowing. Just trust me on this one. So before we dive into what September is bringing us, right? The energy, that the wave of energy that it's actually bringing us. I want us to just take a deep breath because I feel that a lot of people right now are having a hard time navigating the shifts, the energetic shifts and the waves that are coming in, especially with August's energy that came in with the Lionsgate portal. It has just opened up so much, and it has energetically stretched us. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are being asked to ascend, to rise, to expand, because Earth is ascending. She's already ascended actually in the fifth dimension, and we need to follow suit. And so we're being asked to energetically stretch. So why don't we just take a few deep breaths and just ground. What I love to do is make sure that my feet are touching the ground. If that is possible for you, please do so. And focus on the soles of your feet, right? Connecting to the floor, connecting to the earth if you're outside watching me. And just put your hands on your heart space. And what's really, really powerful is to close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, you're shutting out a lot of what I call eye pollution. Okay, it's like when you shut off one of these senses, you actually heighten your sixth sense. So let's just close our eyes just for a few seconds and just take a few deep breaths and just be where we are. So let's take a deep breath in, hold, and exhale. Let's do it another time. Breathe in, hold, and release. Feel that tension loosening up from your shoulders, your neck, your jawline. Let's do one more breath. Take a deep breath in, hold, and release. All right. Now, I feel you fully grounded, much more grounded. We tend to live up here a lot, right? Society has programmed us to be up here, from here to here, from here to here. It's like a tennis match, a ping pong tournament all the time. And we have never really been taught how to ground. And that's our natural state. Our natural state is to be fully, fully grounded, right? And have that energetic stretch where we are plugged into source that is coming through us. And then it acts like, we act like a conduit. The energy just goes right through us, and then we ground it to the earth's core, right? This is something that I teach in Force Field, which is one of my self-mastery programs. If you're interested in knowing more about how to master your energy, become the CEO of your energy body, let me know. I will put the link actually in the description once this live is over, okay? So We are in a universal year 6. Okay, we're like in the last quarter, right? We're nearing the end. And the 6 is all about healing. It's a very nurturing number. And it's also about higher vision. So what's happening universally, like as a collective, right? And I like to talk about like the universal year energy first before we dive into it. And the way I like to explain it is that the universal year is like a big storyline. It's like a big book, right? That's been cracked open. And every month is a new energetic chapter that opens up. But it's part of the big storyline. Do you understand? So we need to understand the storyline. The storyline of the 6 is all about healing what no longer serves us, right? So that we can align to our higher vision, to our destiny, to our highest potential, to our zone of genius. We are being asked to shed layers, to peel back the layers so that we can start focusing on what we came here to do and who we came here to be. Okay, a lot of us right now are going through a lot of healing crisis. A lot of us are feeling dizzy. A lot of us are going through a lot of discomfort, a lot of shoulder and back aches, right? Because the 6 represents the whole spine, right? And so a lot of us are feeling the shifts, right? And we're feeling the discomforts. Our body is our compass, right? Our body tells us what it is that we need to release, what's going on. It's always talking to us, right? And so a lot of people are going through a healing crisis this year. So whatever it is that you haven't dealt with energetically or emotionally, it's coming up to the surface. And it's very unapologetic in the way that it's going to do it this month in September that's coming. Okay, because this month in September, we're also going to be calibrating, influenced by the universal month 6. So we're in a year 6, right? We're in a month 6 within a year 6. We got double 6s going on. But in September, there's an undercurrent of the number 9. And the 9 is very unapologetic. The 9 is the number of the light worker, right? It's the number of integrity. It has this humanitarian type of feel to it. And so we are being asked to start peeling back even more layers. So if you've been doing some inner work, bravo. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of dedication and devotion and self-love to do it. And it's not an easy path, right? It's not an easy path to really start looking at ourselves and to really start diving into our past, right? Past hurts and disappointments, and start doing the inventory and doing the inner reflection. This is not for just anybody, right? A lot of people actually will bypass this, right? They want to live the spiritual enlightened path, but they will do what I call the spiritual bypass, and they won't want to do the inner work. And I understand this, and I know this very well because I tried it, right? I was reading all the books, I was doing all this stuff, but I wasn't doing the inner work. And so I kept living my life in a loop all the time. It's like faces would change, right? The environment would change, but the experience would not, right? It's like same shit, different pile type of energy. And so in September, we are going to feel this as an individual and also as a collective, because we're part of the collective. This is a universal energy. We are going to feel the push, right? We're going to feel a lot of emotions coming up. And this is happening for us, right? So September is going to require a lot of courage. And this is what August was all about. This is why we had the Lion's Gate. 8 is about courage. It's about strength. It's about amplification. It's about personal power. It's about standing in our truth, in our innate power, and to tap into our innate wisdom. This is what the 8 is all about. And this is what the Lion Gates was all about as well. So it has prepared the terrain, right, for us to be able to start peeling back those layers. All right, so we are going to be feeling a lot of shifts. We're going to be experiencing a lot of physical ailments, because what happens is that we are so caught up in our minds a lot of the times, right, that we don't listen to the subtleties of our bodies. And it's just like a screaming toddler, right? At the beginning, the toddler will try to get your attention very softly. And if you're too busy, then you won't hear the toddler. And the toddler gets louder and louder to the point where he pulls on your sleeve or he hits you or something to get your attention. And that is what your body will do if you don't listen to it. So if you are experiencing a lot of physical ailments right now, gut health is like so important right now, because your gut is directly linked to your emotions and to what's going on up here. So if you have the monkey mind and you're constantly worrying, or you're stressed, or you're self-doubting, or you have a lot of resentment and anger and all that stuff, oof, that is powerful. Emotions are powerful. They carry a frequency. They carry a frequency, right? So take a look at what's the emotion that you've been holding on to. Because the 9 is about going back in the past. Yeah, it's taking a walk down memory lane and kind of rehashing stuff, right? And it's not about going back and reliving everything bit by bit, second by second, but it's about taking inventory of what have you been lugging around for so long and what is no longer serving you, right? Sometimes we just put a whole bunch, we stuff our suitcases with so many things, so many past hurts and disappointments and resentment and anger and bitterness and sadness and all of that. And it's all stuffed in this suitcase, and this suitcase gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And we're lugging it around. We're bringing it into our relationships. We're bringing it into our health. We're bringing it into our career, our business. We're bringing it to everything. And in September, this is going to come up for you. And it's going to come up as a collective. We are going to see so many people screaming for this type of healing. So many people are going to want to just let go of what's no longer been serving them. Because the 6 is about unity, right? There's this longing. There's this longing as a collective to belong, right? To be part of a collective. This is why we're all living on this earth simultaneously. There's a reason why we decided to come here together, and not only as individuals. It's because we want to share. We want to connect. We want to rise together. This is what September is bringing. It's like it's reminding us, yes, we need to start healing ourselves as an individual. And we need to do it with integrity. We need to take responsibility for what we are bringing to the table. How are you showing up? It's easy to blame other people. I was actually having this conversation with my husband yesterday, and we were talking about how it's so easy to blame, to cast blame and say it's your problem. It's not me, it's you, right? It is so easy. And we see that, right? We see that in the world, in society, how it's so easy to blame other people. The tough work, the courageous work, the soul aligned work is when we take a look at ourselves in the mirror and we hold ourselves accountable for what we've said, what we've done, how we've shown up. And the 9, like I said, is unapologetic. So if you want to be able to navigate, right, the September's wave, you want to start holding yourself accountable for what you've brought into this lifetime, right? Start taking inventory, like, how have I been showing up? How have I been showing up in my relationships, in my career, for myself? How have I been doing that? Was I doing it in integrity, or was I doing it from a place of victim mentality, or a place of scarcity, a place of, of disempowerment? It's like, how have I been showing up? Have I been giving my power away to other people? Because that's what happens when you blame other people for what's going on in your life. You're disempowering yourself completely. You're giving so much power to that other person or that other system or belief system or whatever it is. That's what Lion Gate was all about. That's what August was bringing us. It was helping us bring back our power, call back our power, and stand in it, right? And so right now, what we need to do in order to hold on to our innate power, in order to navigate from that space of certainty, of unshakable certainty, we need to take a good look at ourselves. We need to hold ourselves accountable for everything that we've done and stop playing the blame game. And we're going to see this outside of ourselves as well. We're going to see this playing out across the globe. There's going to be, because some people are going to calibrate, they're still going to do the whole like blame game, right? There's an energetic flip side to every number. So we're still going to see some people trying to cast blame on others. We're still going to see people playing the victim, playing the martyr, right? We're going to see that, and that's okay. We are part of this duality, right? Earth is a planet of duality. So that's fine. But which side of the coin are you going to be calibrating on? Do you want to be the martyr or have the victim mentality? Or do you want to hold yourself accountable and responsible for everything that you say and do? And that is a place of empowerment. And that brings you to true self-liberation, because you're no longer expecting others to make you happy. You're no longer expecting the government to make you feel safe. You're no longer expecting your work to make you feel fulfilled. It's like you become your own CEO. You don't need all those things. You don't need the validation. You don't need for them to be accountable for anything. You're accountable for yourself. You know where you're going, right? You know what you're made of. You know why you came here. This is why 6 is like of the higher vision. Who did you come here to be? What is your zone of genius? That's your destiny in your chart, okay? I find that whole frequency within your destiny number. I do this because I use a triangle when I teach it and when I coach people. I am very visual. And so your destiny is your highest potential, right? It's your highest potential. And in order for you to be able to start navigating towards that and calibrating to your highest potential, we need to do the inner self work, right? And September is actually opening up its portal. It's like opening up its doors for you to walk into this portal, right? This beautiful space, and start holding yourself responsible and accountable. Okay, there's going to be a lot of that. And it all starts in our backyard. I always say this every time that I do a monthly forecast. It all starts in our backyard. And if everybody would do the inner work, then can you imagine? Can you imagine how this planet will shift in an instant? And that is what we are focused on, right? That's our vision for 5D, right? For New Earth. They're different titles that people like to use, right? So we're ascending from the 3D matrix to the 5th dimension, to 5D, the 5th dimension. That's New Earth. And what we need to do in order to get there is to do the inner work. And this is what 2022 has been all about. Okay, the bunch of 2s that we see in 2022, there's 3 of them, right? And the 2 is all about deep connection to yourself, to your soul. It's the 2 is the gateway to the soul plane. And so it's all about tapping into your intuition, to your higher self, to source, so that then once you're truly connected to yourself, you can start connecting with others. Do you understand? Right? It's very deep work, but it is so doable. It is so doable. So there's a lot of forgiveness that's going to happen in September. We've been going through, a couple of years of extraordinary times, right? Wild times, I'll put it that way, okay? And we've all experienced our own ups and downs and ebbs and flows since 2020. And there's been a lot said and a lot done. And 2022 is a time for us to start healing what has happened, right? But it all reflects of what it is that we need to heal within ourselves. So the collective has some very deep mother and father wounds to heal. All right. And if we all do it individually, then that's where everything starts shifting. Right. So we need to start looking at, and this is what the 9's energy, that undercurrent, this is what the 9 is going to bring up for you. A lot of family issues, a lot of family stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come up and bubble up to the surface. There's going to be a lot of emotions. And that's okay. We need to hold on to that courage of Lionsgate, right? And to face it. To face it, right? And to feel it. These are just, your emotions are just energy. And it's energy with messages behind it. That's all it is. But we've been programmed as a society to fear the feelings. It's like instead of feeling your own feelings, we've been programmed to watch reality shows, or we've been programmed to gossip and to look at what other people are doing and to feel so sorry for them instead of really working on ourselves. So it's like there's been a disconnection here, right? Between ourselves and our soul and our intuition and our oversoul, higher self, all of that stuff, all of our energetic architecture. There's been such a disconnection, and it's time to reconnect. That's why there's so many 2s, right? In 2022. And you can see like next year, 2023, there's still going to be a couple of twos in there. It's like this connection, this deep connection within yourself needs to happen. It needs to happen. This inner work needs to happen, right? I just want to make sure that I didn't skip on anything here. I said this, yeah. So the forgiveness part is about letting go of past judgment, first on yourself and then on to others. We've all judged other people, and we've all been judged, right? And we've judged ourselves as well. We're very hard on ourselves. We can be the biggest assholes to ourselves, honestly. And it's time to let go of that judgment and to really forgive ourselves for the shortcomings, right? To forgive ourselves for maybe when we didn't show up with integrity, where we didn't show up with compassion or with love or with respect, and understand that we are on this trajectory of ascension and that we're here to learn, but we have to get ourselves off the hook. We really do. If not, we are going to hold ourselves in this box of guilt and of shame, and you're never going to be able to flourish and to soar and to rise, right? It's a bit like that balloon with the weight. I used to use that analogy a lot. If you want to rise like a helium balloon, you can't if you have dead weight holding you down. So you need to snip that. And that is something that I teach in Force Field, right? To clear out the energetic ties, to cut them, to sever those ties, to untether yourself from these things so that you can heal and you can rise. Okay? So this is going to be like a very, very good month to ask yourself, how are you self-sabotaging your health? How are you self-sabotaging your relationships, your wealth, right? Your career path or your business? How are you not showing up with integrity? How are you getting in your own way, right? This is going to be such an extraordinary inner work for you because you need to understand how you are stopping yourself from ascending. And September is going to give you that ability and that possibility, that potentiality to do so. Okay? And these emotions that you're going to feel, like when you figure that out, you're like, oh my God, this is how I'm sabotaging myself, right? This is how. I'll give you an example. What I used to do is when things were starting to go good and go well, and I was like I was on this frequency, how I would self-sabotage myself is I would start to over worry, like plague myself with a worry about one of my kids, my husband, my dog, anything. Okay? It was like I would shift my focus and I would just be like, oh no, I can't do this anymore. I can't thrive anymore because I need to focus on this. And that's how I would self-sabotage every time. Every time I would. That was my pattern. It has to do with my life path as well because I'm a life path 268. So that's the 6th, right? I used to self-sabotage and go and over-nurture somebody else instead of doing the inner work. It's almost like I would hit a point where it's like, oh, can I peel back that layer? Because this one is a good one. And then my ego would be like, nope, nope, I'm going to keep you safe. Go and focus somewhere else. And that's how I used to self-sabotage. And I have to watch myself. Even though that I'm very aware now, I become the observer and I see myself coming a mile away, I still have to check and make sure, right? And after a while, I won't even have to check anymore, because I will have embodied the higher frequency, the light aspect of my 6 instead of its self-sabotaging ways. Okay? So this year is like, in this month of September, it's going to like really be extraordinary for you if you have a 6 in your core sequence. So as a life path sequence, right? Or as a destiny number or as a heart's desire number. Or if you're in a personal year 6, there's universal cycles and personal cycles, okay? So it's going to be like a double, triple dose for you, okay? And that's all right. Embrace it. This is all happening for you. It's exciting. These are exciting times. They're wild, but they're exciting. It's all about ascension. It's about tapping into our brilliance, our magic, our power. It's extraordinary. And you came here for this. You came here for this. And if you don't know what your numbers are, and you would love to deepen your journey with me, I have a light leap numerology session, which is much more than a numerology session, but this is where we dive into a specific area of your chart so that we can break through a certain aspect of your life. So you get to choose, what is it that you want to experience a breakthrough with? Is it your health? Is it your wealth? Is it your relationships? What is it? And then we dive in to some specific numerical codes, and within 90 minutes, boom, you're skyrocketing. Okay, you're skyrocketing. So let me know if you're interested in that. I also offer one-on-one mentorship called Luminary, 3-month minimum. Okay, under than 3 months, there's no transformation. This is deep soul work that we do. You have me in your back pocket. And then I have the Unshakable Femme Mastermind, which is an 88-day container where we just fly. This is where you get to connect with your innate power, your wisdom. This is where you become unshakable. This is where you are so connected to your brilliance, and you see yourself as such a divine femme that no thing and no one will stop you from leading yourself with integrity and with compassion and with love. It is extraordinary. So let me know if you're interested in that as well. Okay. Okay. So these emotions, there's going to be some high emotions, and that's okay, because we have to remember that beneath every emotion, it's like there's this hidden jewel, right? It's like there's this hidden jewel. There's this hidden jewel of like insight and balance. And this is what's going to move you from the chaos into calmness, right? And this is where freedom is. This is where it lies, right? This is where it lies. So we need to embrace these emotions. There's going to be some. I'm telling you, September is going to be an emotional month. And what's really important for you, like we did at the beginning of this video, right, is to ground yourself. Ground yourself. Breathe. Okay? You need to connect with earth. Connect with your body. If we're too much here and here, remember, it's the ping pong match here. It's a tennis match. You're just going to be thinking about something. It's going to make you anxious, and then it's going to make you think again. It's going to make you anxious or stressed or whatever, angry, and boom, you're stuck up here in a loop. We need to bring that energy down, and we need to send it to Earth's core, right? Again, I teach this in force field, but we did a bit of it at the beginning of this video. If you're catching me now, you can listen to the replay and you'll see how I just help you just reconnect with yourself. But grounding is going to be huge for September. Okay. So the last thing that I wanted to bring up is that there's going to be this energy of justice. Remember, I was saying that there's an undercurrent of the 9 energy. Okay. 9 is about integrity. Remember, it's the number of the light leader, right? Of the light worker. And so there's going to be this energy of justice that's happening. And so what I'm seeing, what I'm forecasting is that there's going to be an ending of a cycle, like ending of patterns. We're going to see this in the collective, right? With all of society's structures, we're going to see that some things are just going to cease working. We're already seeing some dismantling things, right? We're seeing some things being dismantled or reorganized or modified, but there's going to be some wheels that are just going to, they're gonna break, right? The spokes are gonna go flying off, and that's it, no more. But for you as an individual though, there's going to be some cycle breaking. There's going to be ends of certain patterns and cycles. And it's also an opportunity for you to do this, right? To really, really dive into this opportunity to start breaking negative patterns. Now, something has been coming up in my work for the past few months, and I'm not surprised. There's one numerical code in your chart that just keeps coming up, like every time that I do a reading, every time that I'm coaching, and it's the ancestral wound, right? It's the ancestral lineage number. There is a number within your chart that will reveal what your ancestral lineage is. And again, there's an energetic flip side. There's the gift, right? The gift that your ancestors have given you, which is like phenomenal, right? But then the energetic flip side of that is the wound. It's the wound. And this is a lot of the times where negative patterns lie. This is where it's deep rooted, right? Like deeply imprinted patterns, cycles are there. They're in this code, the frequency of this numerical code. And there's going to be a lot of that coming up, a lot of your ancestral lineage. And this is why I was saying that there's going to be that right now in 2022, it's about healing the divine mother and the divine father wound. Do you get me? You see how it all connects, right? So a lot of this is going to happen. And what happens is that when you decide to end a negative cycle, or what you deem now as an unnecessary cycle that's no longer serving you, even though you're the one that brought it in, right? Remember, we have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't blame. Am I still on? There's something going on. Hopefully I'm still on. Let me know in the comments so that I can continue. So I don't want to, this is such a good piece of information here, okay? So the reason why these patterns even exist, right? These ancestral lineage types of patterns, and even those that we've created ourselves. It doesn't necessarily have to be connected to our ancestors, right? This could be like a pattern that we've created over time. It was all to just keep ourselves safe. It's just to keep ourselves safe. That's all. It's to keep ourselves in the loop, in the fishbowl, in the box, so that, because it's dangerous out there. Right? So that's what our ego is telling us. Like, don't go out there. Remember last time you got hurt, right? So go back, stay where it's safe, and then we don't have to deal with all that stuff. And so we create these patterns, or it could be the ancestral lineage patterns that have been brought down to us, that have been imprinted in us, and we're just using it by default because, well, it's an imprint and we're just not aware of it, right? So when we are looking to break that cycle, right, it can feel almost impossible because there's this fear. There's this fear of what's outside that box. What is outside that box? I've never ventured that far, and I don't know what's waiting for me. And so what we do is that we stay in the box, right? But I'm going to tell you something. The reason why this is bothering you so much, even though you kind of sort of feel safe, but it's like, I know there's something more. I feel that there's something more, and I'm not feeling fulfilled. I'm not feeling like I'm aligned. There's something missing, is because our soul always desires freedom. It came here to explore. It came here to share. It came here to connect. Right? So when you are stopping yourself, you're almost like suffocating your soul. Your soul is like, no, we didn't come here for this, right? And that is why you're feeling like almost like you're in a pressure cooker, or you're stuck in that box. It's like, yeah, right? Do you feel me? So it may feel as though you can't find your way out of the situation, but I'm going to tell you that you can. That you can. You have this fear within you, yes, I get it, or you have this self-doubt or this confusion, but mostly it always comes down to fear of the unknown. That's always what it comes down to. But I will tell you this, the power that lies within you is far greater than the fear that resides up here. The fear is just a programming. It's an illusion. It's something that you were taught. It was something that you bought into because you were vulnerable and you didn't know any better. It's an illusion. Your power is 1,000 times far greater than this fear that you're holding on to. Okay? So what you need to ask yourself this month of September is this is such an important question for you, okay? What makes you feel supported? Or what would make you feel supported while you are doing this deep inner work? What happens a lot of the times is that we feel alone on this trajectory to ascension. We feel alone dealing with these past hurts and disappointments. We feel fear. We have all these things that are coming up. And when we're doing it on our own, it can become very challenging. And it could feel almost impossible. And that's why a lot of us just go back to our old ways, because it's what we know. Even though we are not fulfilled, even though we have this soul calling, even though we know that we're meant to do more, be more, have more, this desire, we will choose to go back to what we know by default, just because we don't know what next step to take. We're not sure if we're doing it right. We just need somebody to hold our hand or just to walk side by side with us. And this is why I love mentorship so much. And this is why I chose to become a mentor and a coach. Because when I was going through my dark night of the soul, and I've been through a few of them, you don't just go through one, you can go through a few of them, all depending on your trajectory. What helped me the most? And I remember I surrendered, right? After this huge burnout, I didn't know what to do, where to go. I didn't know. And so I remember surrendering, sitting in my backyard. I had tears streaming down my face, and I was like, that's it. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. I need help. And I'm just throwing that in the universe. And within a few days, I met this incredible mentor who ended up being my mentor for 5 years. I ended up being invited in a closed initiate school for mystics and sages. I became an energy healer. And within that training, I rediscovered numerology. I knew about it, but I was like, kind of, it's like we met again and we fell deeply in love, right? Numerology is my love language. And yeah, and that's it. I mean, and the rest is history, like they say. I mean, here I am today, right? Like 12 years later. 12 years later. And all it was for me to realize that there is power in mentorship. There is power in guidance and support. And I don't have to do it all on my own. And that's why we're all here as a collective. And we've all been, we all have this soul contract where we've have everything predestined. It's like certain people are just meant to connect. Like I know the mentors that I've had in my life, I was meant to be with them. I was meant to cross paths with them. I was meant to learn from them. And they learned from me. There's always an exchange. So when I'm coaching and mentoring people, I am learning just as much as they are because they are bringing something to the table that energetically fills up my cup, right? It's an exchange. And that is the new way of coaching. That is the new way of mentoring. That's the new earth, the new 5D type of leadership. It's not about dictatorship. It's not about, authority over somebody. It's not about, well, I'm going to walk 10 feet in front of you and you follow me. That's not what it's about. And that's what we're seeing in 2022. We're seeing communities coming and forming. We're seeing people reuniting. We're seeing more love. We're seeing more family and community and values, right? We're seeing more alignment. We're seeing more connection. That is the new way of leading. But it all starts with you. You need to learn how to lead yourself first. And if you're interested in knowing how to do that, I have these opportunities for you. You can start with a numerology reading with me, Light Leap. You can decide to just go for the gold and decide to go with the one-on-one mentorship with me, which, like I said earlier, is a minimum of 3 months, right? Some people choose 3, some people choose 6, some people choose a year, okay? It's up to you. Or you can dive into the Unshakable Femme Mastermind, which is like amazing, right? Yours for a lifetime, all of the modules, everything. And we get weekly coaching. You get 3 one-on-one coaching with me. It's incredible. If you want to know more about the Unshakable Femme, let me know. This is where you get to lead yourself with so much certainty, right? And with your innate power, and you make all the decisions within that space. So September is going to be an incredible month. It's going to be a month of deep healing, of deep feeling, of forgiveness, of responsibility, accountability, community, and family, and deep connection. I'm trying to just sum it all up in a few words here. And if you have any questions regarding the forecast that I just shared, please let me know. Put it in the comments, or you can send me a DM through IG or through Facebook, right? If you know anyone who would benefit from this kind of information, from this kind of transmission, feel free to share it. Please like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And again, I am so grateful that you have joined me for September's frequency forecast, and I will be coming back on next week for my weekly conversations. So remember, if it's in your heart, it's in your chart. And on that, I'm sending you all so much love, so much light. Ciao for now.